Let's go ahead and practice some domain and range for discrete relations only. We're only going to do kind of part of this. This exercise is actually for each relation determine whether it is a function and justify why. We haven't covered that, so we're just going to skip that part for now. We're going to come back to it later. For now, we're only going to state the domain and the range. So let's take a look at this relation here. We know that the domain are all of our x values, and the range are all of our y values. So here my domain is going to be all of my x values. So I'm just going to find my x values. That would be 2, 6, 4, 5, and -8. And my range are all of my y values. So I'm just going to list all of my y values. -4, -2, -2, I'm not going to list -2 twice, -4, and -6. Go ahead and do the second example. Now here we have a relation. Sometimes we show relationships, and this is called a mapping, just a fancy mathematical term. But in this case, we're starting with these values, and they are connected with these values. So these values are our domain, our independent, our starting values, and they're connected with our dependent values or our range. So for what is the domain, I'm just going to list out the ones that are in this dependent bubble. And for the range, I'm just going to list out the ones that are in this independent range bubble. And again, if it's listed twice, I'm just going to list it once. Go ahead and do the second value. And you'll notice in these two cases that sometimes two values in the domain will each end up in the same range, or sometimes one value in the domain will actually end up in two different ranges. And we'll talk about how that relates to a function and not later on. Let's go ahead and see how this looks like in a function or in a XY table. Well, this one's pretty easy. We know that our domain is our x values, and our range is our y values, so we just list them out. You go ahead and do this one. This look like on a graph? Well, here is, if you can't see it, here is my x and my y axis. And again, I know that my domain is my x values and my range are my y values. So I'm just going to start from left to right. I'm just going to find my x values. And I'm going to go kind of from smallest all the way to biggest, just kind of like I would on a number line. So let's see, my x value here is -1, 2, 3, so -3. And that value is also -3, so I'm not going to list it twice. See, my next one would be this point, and that x value is going to be -1. My next point is this one, and that x value is 0 because it's right on the axis. My next one would be this one, and the x value is 1, 2. And my next point would be this one, and the x value is 1, 2, 3. So those are my x values, my domains. And then my ranges, it's kind of hard to connect them, but I suppose I could connect them here. My ranges would be, let's see, I could go this way. I could go from smallest to biggest if I wanted to. So this x value would be 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. This one is -3. This one would be -2. This one is 0 because it's right on the axis. And then we have 1, 2, 3. I have 2 of them that are at 3, at y equals 3, and so I'm just going to list that once. You go ahead and do the second one.